Good morning, everyone. I'm on to my next chapter of my John Maxwell. And today's day 4, the leadership thought for today is, while a good leader sustains momentum, a great leader increases it. And so it is with us. We have to keep our momentum going, and we have to keep investing. We have to keep believing, keep hoping, and trusting in the Lord. And God, whatever God gives us, He will give us even more than we could ever expect or imagine. God has promised us as His children that He will never abandon us, even through these difficult times that we're going in. So right now, the government of Canada is stopping the temporary foreign workers' visas. And for me, just like with the call center work, that's an opportunity. So there are lots of hotels in Toronto. There are lots of restaurants in Toronto. That's an opportunity for me to look for a management position in that kind of an organization or company. The same way that I did with the call center work, because at one point, they were taking all our call center work to India. And we didn't have the opportunities we have now. So I was like, why don't they bring those jobs here? Because people like me will do them. And when that opportunity came for me to do it, I did do it. Obviously now with my health, I would look for something more managerial, where I can oversee things, where I can guide others and mentor others, because I can't be on my feet the whole day. That's just the reality of it. And so I am applying to jobs in the retail sector. I am applying to jobs in the restaurant sector, because if an opportunity opens up there for me, then I'm going to take it, because I now have the e-commerce experience from Teleperformance. I have the management experience from doing the account management. I have the banking experience and the operations experience. I've got the marketing experience. I've got the HR experience. So I can take all of those skills, and if an opportunity comes up where once we are temporary foreign workers, I can go into that kind of a position and I can hold that job as a Canadian, because we have to look where those opportunities are. And if certain companies don't want to give us those roles, then that's up to them. Just like how they couldn't fix my ID with MLB. I waited for 3 months. They didn't fix it. I said, I'm prepared to wait, create a new ID, and then I'll wait and I'll come back. They weren't prepared to do it. So I lost my job. So I'll take my skills wherever I go and I'll use them somewhere else. And I think it's unfortunate, but again, it's not my company. I'm not the one making the decisions. And I was prepared to do what I could on my end to wait and to go back in. And they weren't prepared to do it. The same way when I reported people who were cheating in the exams, literally taking their phones, putting them under their bums, sitting there. And I told Teleperformance what was happening. They kept them. They let me go. So this is why I'm saying you're building the momentum of the culture that you want in your organization. Because everybody saw it. Everyone who was sitting there saw it. I wasn't the only one who reported it. But they kept these girls from India. And they let them stay in that company, and they're working there. And the Nigerian girls were shocked. They're cheating like that openly. And they telling each other the answers, and they just leaving them. I said, oh, it's not my company. I did my share. I took my responsibility. I told the trainer, I told the operations managers. After that, it's not up to me. So as long as I know I've done my share and I've done right by the company, that's all I can do. Does it hurt me that they let me go and they kept them? Of course it does. Who wouldn't it hurt? Would you be happy if somebody treated you that way? Anyway, like I said, when I'm talking about companies being infested, this is what I'm talking about. So we have to understand the value of momentum. And you'll see that on any sports team. If you see how the sports team motivates each other, how they get going, how they plan their strategies to win, you see it in sports culture. The second point is you need to identify the motivating factors in your organization. Is your organization just concerned about getting somebody in to do a job for a period of time and let them go, and you don't care what values they're bringing with them? You don't care what kind of values they're promoting within your organization? Because I can assure you those girls, they'll say, don't worry about it. They'll just say like that, and then as long as you pass the test, they'll put you into production. They don't care. Why should they care? They're getting the support from the organization. Then the third point is remove the demotivating factors from your organization. So every organization has traditions that are outdated. It has things that no longer work anymore. And we need to get rid of those in our organizations, in our cultures, because the world is always changing. And we have to move forward with what is needed. So if people are hurting the progress of the company, to me, I don't understand how companies keep them. I don't understand what TD got out of keeping corrupt people in the organization. I don't understand what people get by doing my family down and continually coming after me, making like I'm running the world, or I'm running the bank, or I'm running Teleperformance. It makes no sense to me. And, I wanted support for my daughter, so why are you coming after me? Go and get support for your daughter. And don't put me in the middle of it. I'm not interested in people putting me in the middle of what's happening to them, because I've worked hard to get where I am. Nobody wrote my papers for me when I got my master's. Nobody helped me to cheat on my exam so that I could pass and get onto production in Teleperformance. And yet every time I get shafted, and people who come in after me, they get the promotions, they get the permanent jobs at BMO, at TD, at CIBC. I'm not interested in that kind of relationship. People also have to think about me and the impact it's having on my life. I don't understand why they would keep people who lower morale, who hurt momentum, and why they would let people take a month's holiday to go home to Nigeria and come back, and they keep a job waiting for them. Yet with me at BMO, they'll tell me, oh no, your contract's coming today for the 2-year contract, and we're promoting you. And then I get home and I get told, oh no, there's no job for you. And I don't get invited back. I don't understand why people would treat me so horribly. And then the fourth point is schedule times for direction and celebration. So every time that we have something to celebrate, every time we have something that goes well in the organization or in the team, it's important to celebrate it, and it's important to acknowledge it. Because once Solomon became king, he was determined to honor God. So too with us. When that news came about Barad Masrani stepping down, I didn't run to family or friends. I went to the church. I went to the church to pray for all of us who would be impacted by that decision. Because yes, it was a decision that had to be made, but did it hurt all of us who had worked with them directly? Of course it did. So I went to the church to pray. And that's what we all have to do. We have to go into our prayer to take the opportunity to remind people that there's a history here, that, there's things that we worked on together. It's an ending of something, and it's the beginning of something new. And God desires us to make adjustments in our lives. If we make those adjustments and we move forward, hopefully the dots connect and things fall into place for us. We have to enjoy our achievements and our accomplishments. There's no point saying to somebody, oh yeah, look at you, you got your degrees and everything, but look at how stupid you are, look at how your life has gone. How is that benefiting you? Aside from making you feel good, that person worked hard for their education. They studied, they put in the hours, they put in the research. With me, I had to work 3 jobs. I used to work at the library, I used to work at my job in the corporate world, and I used to work doing whatever house cleaning and things I could get here in Canada. Plus I used to study, come home, do my papers, do the research, go to classes. It's not easy, so don't put graduates down, especially people like me who have come into this country and have had to work very, very hard to get those master's degrees and those certifications. And people that get them are supposed to be earning the good money, the good dollars, to have the benefits and the accolades. It's very unfair how I've been treated in this country. If I had done somebody down, if I had hurt people in the process, if I had abused people in the process, then yes, I would say, yes, you know what, God, you have every right to punish me and to allow all these people to come against me. But I didn't launder any money for anybody. And even when people contacted me saying, oh, can you transfer this money for me, I reported it. Did I get any reward for it? Did I get any good job out of it? No, I didn't. I got treated the worst. I had lawyers put onto me for doing what was right by Credit Suisse. It's not appropriate. It shouldn't be allowed. And then the 5th point, practice character leadership. Do what's right no matter how you feel. When you're building momentum, the most important thing is character. And that's what matters. If the leader discredits or disqualifies himself, then momentum building stops and it can quickly come to a grinding halt. So if we don't have trust in our organizations, in the people that are on our team, in the people that are leading us, we don't have anything. That's why I was disgusted with those girls. And I told them, I said, this is not they're like, oh, well, what about in India? We can keep our phones with us on the floor. And I said to them, well, this is not India. And then we had the managers talked to them and told them that sometimes what happens, people bring their phones onto the floor and then they take down private information or they leak private information. You can't stop that. But the very fact that they supported them over me when I did what was right for the company, it hurt me. Because I didn't have to, and from now on, I'm not going to report things. Like the police told me, I'm just not going to bother. Because every time I report things, I try to help the organizations, I try to help the church, I try to help Father Larry, they come down on me. So I'm going to do what the police told me. Now I'm just not going to bother to report it. If they ask me and they say, what did you see? I'll say, I can't remember. Like my aunt, I can't remember. I'm not lying, I can't remember what happened. Because every time I do what's right in Canada, every time I do what's good in Canada, they come down on me and I get punished. And why should I? Why should I be punished for doing what's right and what's good? Can't they see how sad it is? And my income suffers and my family suffers and my life gets punished for doing good. It's not right. And the last point is, without character, even a great leader cannot sustain momentum. If you desire to take your people and your organization to the highest level, you must learn to create momentum. It isn't easy, but nothing you can do as a leader compares with the impact that it can make. So today's question for reflection is, what are you currently doing to build momentum? And that's something that, for me, I know with my momentum, I'm focused on my job search. I'm reaching out, especially now that I know that the temporary foreign workers' visas are being restricted in the restaurant industry. I'm applying to as many jobs I can in management in those areas because I have the skills and I have the education. And I'm going to continue to look for opportunities like that, just like I looked for the opportunities with the contact center. And whether it's in the banks or whether it's in the hotels or wherever it is, whatever it takes, I'll do that to get an income for myself, because I didn't deserve to be humiliated the way I was in Canada. I didn't deserve to be taken to the police station for doing right. I didn't deserve to lose my jobs because MLB couldn't fix their IT problem. I didn't deserve to be set aside and other people chosen while they cheated on their tests and their exams in front of the trainers and in front of me, and they kept them. I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve to be told, oh no, you can't have Good Friday off because you need to go to church, when there's somebody willing to swap with you. I didn't deserve any of it, but that's the culture that's being created in this country. So now I just don't bother. And the next job I get, I'm going to take my values in, and I'm going to watch who they promote, what they do, who they keep. Because I've done right by Teleperformance from the time I joined them, and I haven't received any reward for it. I haven't received any good paying job. I haven't received any promotions. I haven't received anything. And I've told them where the problems are. Even in production, my managers know. I tell them where the problems are. When my scores are not good, it's because people need to talk to me longer than they would like, or because the company policy of the client we're supporting is hurting them, but they don't want to change that policy, so their customers are getting upset with us. I've done everything right in Canada. There's not one thing that they can say I've done wrong. Nothing. No, not one. It's very sad, to be honest with you. When you do all the right things and you get a sour result, it's very sad. And your family is suffering because the recommendations from your managers and everybody are not being accepted. Because I had very good recommendations. At BMO I had recommendations, at TD I had recommendations, at CIBC I had recommendations, at HSBC I had recommendations, all the banks. I had stellar recommendations, so why can't I get a job in one of those banks? Why? What values are they promoting? They're promoting the ones who slack off, who don't do their work, the ones who want to bring in juniors, saying, oh yeah, we'll save you some money. They don't care that I'll be taking all that knowledge with me and all the skills and experience, and that I'll be out on the street, or that I've got a widowed mother to take care of, or that I've been a good citizen of this country and that I've won a Canada 150 certificate. Those are not the things the banks value. They don't want a good person on their team. And Teleperformance didn't want me on their team either. They didn't have the opportunity. But when those girls were cheating on that exam, they should have let them go then and there. They told them 4 or 5 times not to do it, but they kept them. And even when I reported that, I was just sitting doing my work when I first joined, and one of the guys, he just started going to my supervisor saying, oh, her religion is not the only one that's important. I didn't even talk to him. I didn't even do anything to him. And he started going off on me. And then I got called into HR. I mean, for what? Let people live in peace, please. Nobody attacks your religion. Nobody goes after the Muslims in this country or the Hindus in this country. So if you don't like my religion, just leave me alone. Leave me alone. I can even pray at home. I don't even need to go to the church. God is always with me. I can pray at home. I can watch the Mass at home. Stop coming after me. Build your own momentum. Start choosing good values. And as for the banks, I know I played a role in that with my social media and my tweets and all that. And I know people noticed it. Why don't you wake up and find a good opportunity for me instead of coming after me all the time and not supporting me and not telling the police that I'm innocent and that I don't harass men and that I don't go after men? Why don't you do that for a change? Maybe it will help you. Because, and even with Ed Quill, when I go to see him, I'm not the only one that goes. All the customers like him. We all like him because he's nice. I'm not the only one that goes to check up on him occasionally and see how he is and how his family is. I've known him for a long, long time. So stop all the wagging tongues and putting my reputation in the dirt, because it's not right and it's not fair.